Bedford after the game, what the difficulties were. He said difficult was the wrong word, but 193 yards, it seemed like he had some difficulties there.
Yeah, it was definitely a challenge. I mean, you can't deny the stats, Alex. I mean, 10 receptions, 193 yards. He presented definitely some challenges for our defense and our secondary. And, I'm sure some teams will try to exploit that in the future. We'll have to do a better job of defending some of those deep balls that he was able to make.
I mean, obviously you knew going in the challenge he presented, but he was still able to work his way to a big game. Were there breakdowns? Was it just what he was able to do? What went into such a big performance from him in your mind, knowing how much of a challenge he was going to present going in?
Yeah, he made some terrific catches. We had some guys in position at times, and he did an outstanding job of fighting and making a way to come away with some big plays. As I mentioned, there were times our guys were in position, and he made a great play, and that's what great players do. And credit to him.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon, Leslie. Could you walk us through the decision to start Cam at safety versus maybe Jaquan or even Dean Marlowe? What went into that? And a second part of that, is there a reason that Dean didn't play at all? Was it just maybe not up to speed yet? Just wanted him for special teams or whatever reason?
Yeah, so as we were going through it, say out during the week and in our preparation, just felt like Cam was making progress. We began to work him at safety coming out of training camp, and we've been bringing him along exclusively at safety. We've had to dabble a little bit because of injuries with him playing some nickel, but he's pretty much been a safety. And so as the week went on and we felt more comfortable about his progression, his communication, his grasp of what we do in the secondary from the safety position, we felt comfortable being able to put him out there and give him an opportunity so we can continue to evaluate the position as we are really honing in on the best four in our secondary. And, he did some good things out there, but, it being his first time as a starter, there were definitely some things that he'll be able to improve on going forward. In regards to Dean Marlowe, Dean has been with us now for a little over a week, been away from us for a couple of years. So we have confidence in Dean, but we wanted to be able to give him a little more time. And he was prepared to go in the ball game because I think that was something that happened to Cam for a moment, and we were ready to put him in the ball game. So we do have confidence in Dean. We just need him to get a few more reps and back into our system.
And go back to the Hail Mary and what happened and not knocking it down. Then you look at what happened yesterday and Cam not knocking it down. He took ownership of that. He was, emotional, and he was talking about it himself and how he knew he should have knocked it down. You're a former DB. We're all taught this since we were little kids, right? You knock it down in that situation, fourth down into the game, whatever. But can you take us into that moment when it's up there and, you have the ability to knock it down, you're thinking about it, but you also want to catch the ball, not for selfish reasons, but because it's your natural instinct, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you'd like to do what you consider the right thing, but you said it in the moment. Sometimes, you don't stay as focused as you may need to. Micah Hyde, a couple years ago, you remember against Indianapolis, he's in the same position. Mm-hmm. Does a great job us in the playoff game of knocking the ball down to secure the win. So Cam will learn from it, he'll grow from it, and he'll get better. There's a very good chance he may end up in that position again. And I really believe if that were to happen in the future, Sal, he'll get that ball knocked down.
Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome.
Hi, Leslie. We were talking to Vaughn yesterday after getting out of the locker room, and it just occurred to me, like, just the difference in, we've talked so much about what Vaughn brings, like that experience, that Super Bowl experience. And then you see a game like that where it doesn't go your way, and the immediacy, the heartbreak of it, and you felt that in the locker room. And then we talked to Vaughn, and he comes out and he's smiling and he's talking about being here a million times. What does that do for you guys? You've gone through these games before, but having a guy that has that kind of response in a disappointing game like that.
Well, you need that. I mean, Vaughn is one of our leaders. and it's hard to imagine because he's only been with us a short period of time, but he's a guy that, because of what he's accomplished in this league, other players look to. And so his perspective really helps some of our young players, even some of our veteran players, when you have a heartbreaking loss like we had on yesterday, for a guy like Vaughn to put it in perspective and have the attitude that, we're really right around the midpoint of the season and the sky's not falling. You just got to keep playing, keep working as hard as you can, and things will go in the right direction. So it's a big plus to have one of your better players, one of your leaders, to take a proper perspective and let everyone else know that, hey, things are going to be all right.
Mm-hmm. And then obviously with Tre'Davious, you know him so well for so long. How much frustration is there on his end? You don't have to get into why he hasn't come back yet or anything like that, but just knowing the competitor he is and, wanting to probably get back out there. What's that been like with him?
Well, you said, he's a very competitive guy, and he's working his tail off to get back out there and help his teammates. And that it really causes some angst for him to not be out there right now, but he's getting closer, and we all look forward to when he's back out there.
Thanks, Leslie. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Hey, Leslie, I know you guys had your hands full this past game with trying to stop Dalvin Cook. And now this week you get Nick Chubb, who has 11 rushing touchdowns and is averaging 100 rushing yards a game. So how do you take what you learned against Dalvin Cook and apply it to another great running back coming in here on Sunday?
Yeah, we just got to do a good job, Matt, of not giving up the explosive. That explosive run that Dalvin had really put a damper on some of the good things we were doing against the run yesterday. And Chubb is another type of back who you can stop him, and all of a sudden, he can break one. So we have to learn from yesterday's ball game and just stay gap sound and tackle throughout, because he is an exceptional running back and one of the best, if not the best, in the National Football League.
And then in a week like this, how do you balance learning and correcting the mistakes from this past week with preparing for the opponent ahead?
Well, you have to be able to combine the both. I mean, you got to be able to learn from every experience, whether you win or lose, and then be able to apply it where it's necessary. And that's what we're trying to do every week, Matt. It's no different. If we had won the game, how we'd be searching tape and trying to figure out things we got to get better at, because that's what the opponent is doing. They're trying to find ways to attack what you're doing. So it's important that we learn from some of the mistakes that we made and continue to try to get better and then apply those to our next opponent.
Thanks, Leslie.
You're welcome.
Coach Frazier, Mookie Hawkins, Buffalo Sports 1080. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good, Mookie. Doing good.
Yes, sir. I know it had to be, kind of a frustrating day for you at times, over 480 total yards. I know that's uncharacteristic of your defense. And, on fourth down, on that 4th and 18, Coach, was it a thought on doubling Jefferson there, maybe making Cousins beat you somewhere else at that moment?
Yeah, we tried to knock him off at the line of scrimmage and disrupt him there. And then, the ball he threw up, we felt like we were in good position looking, and we had a chance to make a play on the ball. It just, unfortunately, it didn't work out for us. He did a great job of making a heck of a play on the football. But being able to jam him at the line of scrimmage with a guy over the top kind of gave us the position we wanted to be in.
Absolutely. And then, that's why we call it the 50-50 ball, right? Because it's always a 50% chance that you winning it or losing it in that moment. But, with Xavier Rhodes being activated for this week, did you think about maybe give an option, maybe his experience in that situation could carry maybe? And then how much did Tremaine Edmonds not being out there dampen certain calls down the stretch for you?
Yeah, Xavier has had a good week of practice for us after being injured for a period of time and now being back with us. He was available if we needed him, but because of the way things were going, really didn't put him in that situation. But we'll see where he is at coming up for this next ball game and see if there's a matchup for him. He's practiced well for us. Tremaine is one of our top players, one of the leaders on our defense. So it's always tough when he's not out there. But Tyrel Dodson stepped in and did a really good job in his absence. But for sure, you like to have Tremaine on the field. But injuries happen, and then it's next man up.
Absolutely. Next man up, coach. Hey, got Cleveland on the clock and got to get it done another week, right?
That's right. That's it. You got
No
it.
doubt, coach. Good luck this week. I know you get it done.
Thank you.
That's all for today. Thanks, Leslie.
All right, Kevin.